Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening, because it's already 6 p.m. today.
Good
Mhm.
evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. Okay, let's get started while we are waiting for the rest to come. So, if your mood were the color, what color would it be? Tell me, please, what color is your mood associated with today? What color is your mood associated with today? Mhm. Victoria, purple. Okay. Any other comments? Bluish gray. Aha, pink. Light blue. Okay. Orange, green. Thanks a lot. So, quite randomly, I will ask several people to give comments. Yeah, I'm interested in purple because, like, purple, it's such a color that can be interpreted differently. Victoria, can you please specify why purple was chosen?
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's actually like not the bright color, the dark color. So somewhere in the middle, and it reflects my mood today. So, for example, from the early morning, I was sad, like a little bit upset, but right now I feel kind of happy and excited as for today's lesson. So it's somewhere in the middle.
Oh, so thank you for being happy about our class. So that's a real pleasure to hear that. Polina Belinska, orange was chosen by you. Any comments?
Yes, so I woke up very energized today and I did a lot of stuff I planned to do, like chores and other activities. So I still have that energy left in me, like red, but not as much as when I woke up. So I'm still energized and excited, but not like uh, explosive almost, like red.
Mhm. Not very active, but more or less active. So thanks a lot. Then I see a lot of green, 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 and so it's kind of like two colors so prevail or are predominant today. So they are blue and green, and I would even say that green holds like the first position. So green by Katerina Berezhna, green by Anastasia Terещенko. So okay, Kate, if you don't mind, could you please comment?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I chose these colors. So maybe because it's spring and everything is green. Maybe it means peace. And you also in a green t-shirt or dress.
Yeah, perhaps you just looked at me, saw me wearing this dress of green color, and it kind of like influenced your mood. Yes,
Maybe.
thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, so for a long time, so I personally associated green with some kind of serenity. Yeah, so it's the color that helps to calm people down. Though psychologists claim that bluish color or like blue color in general, so may have the same qualities. Okay, so at least you are not angry. No, not angry because like most of you have written that you associate yourselves with some blue, gray, orange, then yellow colors. So then it means that like I believe that you are ready to work today, yeah? So at least that you are calm, you are quite relaxed, like you are not stressed. So, and that's perfect. So I believe that it's high time for us to finally get started. So, you already know what the topic of our today class will be. So, it will be interrelated with speaking, yeah? So, that's why let me share my screen. Okay, I will show you this presentation of mine, just a moment. Yeah, so and I'm going to announce what the agenda of our class will be. So today we will talk about speaking as a productive skill. Then we will define what teaching speaking is. We will also discuss different forms of speaking, talk about functions and pragmatic context in teaching speaking. So I will tell you why I decided to dwell upon it, because quite accidentally, I did not plan to do that. I kind of witnessed a conversation between a student at our university, and one of our teachers, and I saw that the lady was not quite aware of the functions and pragmatic context, though that's highly essential for teaching speaking. That's why I will specify that, as we did not have a separate lesson on, and we will not have a separate lesson on functions of pragmatic context, and these phenomena are highly essential in teaching such a productive skill as speaking. And we will also dwell a bit on accuracy and fluency, and of course we will analyze, I believe we will manage everything, so there will be enough time for us to analyze also the structure and the lesson on speaking, the way it should look like according to all the requirements suggested by CELTA. Okay, now let's deal with the following situation. So I will ask you to comment on the situation suggested on this Padlet platform. I will ask you to think of why it happened. The situation itself sounds like learners who have studied English for 2 years in their home country complain by saying that they are not fluent in English. Why do you think it happened? And why do you think it can happen? Because it's a typical situation. Could you please leave comments here, like on this Padlet platform? For this, I will provide you with with the link in our chat. Follow it. I believe it's active. And so give some comments on why you think it happens or happened, if talking about this situation in particular. Why do you think it happens? Unfortunately, so here are the comments. So the only one comment that is left. Are you still in the process? Or yeah, there are some people who are writing. The comments appear to be at the bottom of the page. Yeah.
So, by the way, Elena, you can open this, you can click on this picture and you will also see the comments in the comments section.
Thank you.
It's to the right here, But go back to the first picture and yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you for assisting. Okay, so here are some comments from you. I believe that there will be a bit more of them. So lack of real life practice. Yeah, obviously the teacher focused just on drilling something, yeah, rather than providing the students with real life situations and context. Then they need more practice, but practice again in real life situations. Then they don't have enough practice. Fear of making mistakes. Yeah, quite a lot of students do make make mistakes, especially if it like comes to, or when it comes to speaking, spontaneous speaking. I know that quite a lot of students who learn English for a number of years are still afraid of opening their mouth and saying something, so, and usually ask for giving you more time for you to kind of rack your brain and, for example, collect the thoughts, and for you even to take notes so that you could use them as some bull points, so for you to look at and, for example, reflect on something. Then they sometimes can be lazy and blame teachers. Obviously, Ludmila Gennadievna is a teacher herself, because only being in the shoes of the teacher, you can write it as like when you feel it on your skin. Then it can be quite individual situations. Students may not have learned words, haven't done homework, or there was a mistake of a teacher. Okay, teacher may have given material not according to the student's level, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but if we come back to the situation itself, yeah, here it was stated that the learners who have studied English for 2 years in their home country complain by saying that they are not fluent in English. That's why it's obviously not the situation related just to one class. So that's what we have in general, kind of like typical situation when your students are quite unwilling or quite afraid of opening their mouth and saying a word. Yeah, most of you were quite right mentioning that these students lack practice in real life situations, in authentic situations. So thanks a lot for mentioning it. Still, a lot of factors can influence that. And now we are going to talk about what the teacher needs to take into consideration so that to avoid having the situations of the kind. So here we have this scheme. Let's analyze it. So what needs to be considered to develop learners' speaking competence? So what factors should be taken into account, or what exactly needs to be considered by the teacher to develop learners' speaking competence? Any suggestions from you? So you watched the video in your pre-session tasks, and there you could find the answer to this question of mine. Okay, any suggestions? Don't be afraid of saying anything.
I guess the level of learners.
So it can be level of learners. Yeah, thanks a lot. Then what else?
Their interest, maybe
The
hobbies.
interests. Okay, it can be interests. Yeah. Then, okay, I will give you a hint. So why do you think our sessions started not with teaching speaking, but we focused first on teaching, for example, grammar or vocabulary, because that's what? These are language systems, as we call them, yeah? And in case if we do not have enough knowledge based on these language systems, if we do not know the vocabulary, the grammar structures, then prosodic features, will it be possible for us to start presenting our ideas on something or start performing the speaking tasks? Hardly so, yeah? That's why here I will write, so prosodic features. Okay. Prosodic features. Just a moment. Then, what else? I've already mentioned
Maybe age.
grammar. So let's finish with these language systems, yeah? So let's still talk, we are still talking about these language systems. Grammar. Then, what else should be mentioned here?
Vocabulary.
Vocabulary, definitely. Then?
Maybe teacher support, like when teacher provides students with some help while speaking, not just answers the question.
So the teacher should equip his students with so-called
Yeah.
linkers, yeah, linkers, then discursive markers, discursive markers, just a moment, okay. Some phrases, for example, some gap fillers, okay, let us leave them here. Gap fillers to make the pauses pregnant ones. I especially like this word combination, a pregnant pause. What does it mean, a pregnant pause? It's like when, on the one hand, you don't know what to say, but instead of like making this long pause, you make it meaningful, at least by saying, yeah. Or like you present any other fillers, kind of pretending that you are thinking it over what was mentioned, so by the previous speaker or by the interlocutor you communicate with. Okay, Helena, you are raising your hand. Okay, any suggestions as to what else we should
Yeah,
add?
I have an idea that we should learn our students to know different compensatory strategies. For example, when they have an idea but they don't know some words, they should be able to paraphrase their idea in another way.
Okay, so yeah, so some phrases. Okay, так, Anastasia.
Yeah, first of all, sorry for my raspy voice and maybe not comprehended speech. I have a fever, so it's kind of hard
That's
to.
okay. So you sound good. I would say perfectly good.
I was thinking about maybe some cultural awareness because it's not we don't have the same kind of speech in different countries. For example, if we take into account British common speech, they always polite. They try to always apologize or something like that. But Americans don't do that. So maybe they also should know these differences.
Mhm. Thanks a lot. So I have to edit here since I just lack space for writing. I believe we will okay, you will see that. So yeah, once again, so let us have a look at it. So I would also add maybe here like turn taking because like it was mentioned in the video. Perhaps you just you were kind of like not that attentive enough while listening to the speaker. I hope that you watched the videos and listened carefully to what was said there. So turn taking is also essential. Yeah. Why? Because in some cultures where the interlocutors are so active in their communication that you can hardly, for example, put a word at cross, just at crossways. You can hardly kind of like say a word just because your interlocutor is constantly talking and talking and talking. Yeah, you should remember about it. That's why. So you should use some kind of markers that will indicate that you'd like to take the turn. Yeah, to be given the floor in the conversation. Or some markers that would indicate that you're not going to stop where you are, and the pause you made is just a pause but not a full stop. So all these phenomena taken together will influence the success of our conversation, and like in particular the success of like the speaking competence development. Yeah, so knowledge of the level and interest of your students, taken together with the knowledge of socio-cultural phenomena, so accompanied by the knowledge of language systems like prosodic features, grammar and vocabulary, knowledge of linkers, discursive markers, gap fillers to make these pregnant pauses for you not to make these long pauses being shocked and quite unaware of what to say next. And there are also some other things that I haven't mentioned yet, and no one like helped me with that. That's the knowledge of the functions, yeah, functions and pragmatic context, yeah, pragmatic context. So knowledge of pragmatic context, as well as knowledge of grammar and vocabulary and prosodic features can be given under the umbrella term of language systems. So what is function? What is the pragmatic context? So are you aware of the meaning of these terms? Just try to clarify what's this. Tell me, please, what do we mean by function and by the pragmatic context? Okay, guys, any suggestions as to the meaning of functions and pragmatic context? Victoria?
I may try. I guess, for example, we need the language like to differ, like to the different needs. For example, to communicate in the shop, yep, and to speak with some sort of friends, etc. And these patterns will vary, and we need to know what kind of vocabulary to use, what proper structures and grammar, etc.
Yeah. So function usually goes about what for we are using a particular, for example, grammatical structure or vocabulary or some particular idiom. Yeah, what's the function behind? Let me introduce it with the help of some example. For example, in case if I say the same sentence like, oh, for example, it's so cold out, it's so cold in the room. The function of such a statement can be that I am just informing someone who sits with me in the same room about it. Or it can have a bit different meaning. One in the same sentence, one in the same phrase, or even word may have different function. Because perhaps I'm waiting for some reaction on behalf of the person I'm addressing my speech to. Perhaps I'm just waiting for, I'm asking kind of indirectly that person to close the window, or to, for example, to switch on the radiator, yeah, or some kind of like heater, whatever. That's why the knowledge of functions and pragmatic context is highly essential. That's why let me introduce some interesting, I believe that you will like that, so some interesting handouts. And so let me show you some interesting tasks that will be based on functions, on the knowledge of functions and the knowledge of pragmatic context. We will start with the knowledge of functions. And here, I suggest dealing now individually on your own for a couple of minutes. I will ask you to sort out the phrases according to their functions. Here you have a function. Function there can be like giving advice or asking for advice. Apology, so asking for request, asking for repetition. This can be also invitation or complaint or agreeing, disagreeing, regret, offer, asking for opinion. And here come the phrases, examples of phrases that can be used to match this function. For example, in case if I want to get an advice from somebody, so I will use a particular phrase. Which one? Or in case if I want to make an apology, then I will definitely need a certain phrase. Which one? So now take your time to look through the list of these examples, providing the sentences for matching a particular function, and then we will have just a discussion based on it with you. I believe that you've already looked through all these phrases and all these sentences. So, for advice, what, like the example of what sentence will be suitable? Advice.
Maybe why don't you call her and apologize?
So why don't you? Yeah, you are given a kind of advice. So you kind of saying like that would be a good idea, yeah, to do it. Okay, why don't you call her and apologize? Let me place it here. Then for apology, what will work for apology?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Wait, just a moment. Request. What phrase will match this column of the request?
Could you take a message to her, please?
Sorry? Tanusha, could you please say it louder?
The last one. Could you take a message for her, please?
Could you take a message for her, please? Agree with you. I will place it here. Asking for repetition.
Would you say that again, please?
Okay, could you say that again, please? Right, you are. Invitation.
You must come and see us next Sunday.
Okay. And definitely. Complaint.
I'm sorry, but this is unacceptable.
Okay. Agreeing. Agreeing.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Definitely, couldn't agree with you more. It's said when a person absolutely agrees with you on something. What do we use for expressing regret?
If only I told her the truth.
Okay, Inna, thank you. Okay. Disagreeing. So we skipped this one. Disagreeing. What will be perfect for disagreeing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like mild. Yeah, so a phrase or sentence for expressing mild disagreement. It's like, I don't know, kind of, yeah, like you don't really want to do something what is asked of you, but you don't want to just to say about it directly or straightforwardly. That's why you kind of you use these evasive ways of saying the same. Yeah. Offer. What will be used for offer? Suggesting the offer.
Shall I help you?
With bags?
With bags. And the last one, what do you think of, John? That will be definitely the question for asking for opinion. Do you know any other ways to say the same? For example, if talking about advice, so what else can be suggested for the same function? Because you see that different sentences can be used for presenting the same function.
Maybe you should call her and say you're sorry.
Yeah, you should. You'd better call her. Apology.
Please forgive me, or my apologize.
My apologies. So my sincere apologies. So like for example, doing something. Requests.
Would you mind taking a message for her?
Okay, so yeah, thank you. Asking for repetition.
Can you repeat, please?
Definitely. So can you, could you? Yeah. Then invitation. Invitation.
Join us, please.
Join us. I'd like to invite you. Yeah. Complaint.
This behavior is not acceptable.
It's not acceptable, but it's quite similar to what is mentioned here. Still, any other ways of like presenting complaint? So recollect, what do we write in the letters of complaint? Maybe that will help you, like those phrases will help you.
This is not appropriate.
That's not appropriate, for example, yeah. So I could hardly expect that from you or something of the kind. Yeah, agreeing. I 100% agree with you, yeah? Then disagreeing.
I'm not sure about something.
I'm not sure. So unfortunately, unfortunately, so I can't agree with you, or so I don't think the same. I don't feel that way. Something like this. Regret.
I wish I had told her that
I
she
wish I hadn't. I wish I had told her if you didn't do that, or I wish I hadn't told her in case if you've already done that and now you regret saying her about it. Yeah, that depends. Then offer.
Let me help or something like that.
Okay, let me help you. So, so don't you mind me helping you? Yeah, and asking for opinion. The last one, asking for opinion.
How do you feel about John?
Definitely. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. Now that's high time for us to deal with pragmatic meaning. So now if talking about functions, I believe that you are more or less aware, yeah, what the functions are. So that sometimes we can use different sentences for presenting one and the same functions. And if talking about functions, so now you know that this can be the function of advice, apology, request. So certain phrases are used or sentences are used for a certain function. Sometimes one and the same function can be expressed with, and usually it's expressed with more than one sentence or question. So besides, what is highly essential for all of us as teachers to remember while setting a particular speaking task for our students is also taking into consideration the context and pragmatic meaning. Now, I will illustrate that with the following example. So you will see 4 different pictures that are based on one and the same statement. Just imagine that the statement is, it's 10 past 9. How does a pragmatic meaning of one and the same sentence change and function of this sentence change in each of these situations? For example, in situation A, what does it mean? It's 10 past 9. What is the function? What is the pragmatic meaning behind it? It's here. I'm talking about this picture. It's 10 past 9. What does it indicate here? Obviously, this lady is asking the lady in white about what time it was. Yeah? So because the lady looks at her watch trying to kind of tell her the time. That's why the function behind this sentence here is stating the time or just giving the information as to what time it is. Yeah. Then here in the second picture, picture B, the man is still shaving while his wife is waiting for him. Alina.
In my opinion, it's about reminding about the time and maybe with a feeling of irritation.
Irritation, it can be even reproach. Why should I wait for so long? Yeah. So why aren't you ready? So can be reproach, or can be a reminder of the fact that unless so he is in a hurry, so they are going to be late. For example, to a wedding party, to some business meeting. Then the same sentence may have a different function here in this picture C. What does it mean here? What is the function of this phrase? Anastasia.
This woman is teaching children how to tell time using a clock.
Yeah, so like time, time is here is kind of not even the time, but I would say like a clock that this lady, this teacher is keeping in her hands, so holding in her hands, is a tool with the help of which she's just teaching the learners how to tell the time. So yeah, so like this clock is used for instructional needs, and like it's 9:10. It's a phrase so that all the students will repeat after the teacher, trying to learn how to tell the time by the clock. And the last one, picture D. What is its function here, Helena?
In this picture, we can see that the boy is late, for example, for the class. So I think it feels like disapproval from the teacher.
It shows disapproval on behalf of the teacher who just indicates, or just points it to the clock hanging on the wall. That so just see you are late. Can be kind of reproach, or can be even kind of threat that in case if you are late for the next class, I'm going to punish you. Yeah, that's why it just shows that one and the same phrase can be like being accompanied with a particular picture that presents the context, may acquire different function or different pragmatic meaning. Do you think it's essential for your students to know it? Or isn't it something that they need? What do you think? Do we need to introduce this pragmatic meaning of functions to our learners?
Yeah, I believe students will find out by the picture what is going on. So
No, I mean, so is it necessary for the teachers so to talk in school about like different phrases, the ability for different phrases to have different functions or different pragmatic meaning? That's what I was talking about.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's essential. So yeah, that's essential. Okay, so I will close the icon here, and we will move to our next next tasks. Now let me like brief on like the characteristics of speaking. So as far as I've already like mentioned, speaking is viewed as a productive skill. What are the productive skill do you know about? What is the other productive skill?
writing.
It's writing, yeah. That's what we are going to talk about next class of ours, yeah. So whenever we are like dealing with speaking, whenever we teach speaking in the classroom, the teacher needs to set the ground for this kind of production, yeah, for developing this productive skill. So to say, he should provide the students with certain ideas, vocabulary, logical organization. He should introduce this knowledge to them so that they could be well aware of how to like use this as the basics for planning their speaking. And so we should organize the process of production. So to say, there should be a certain context, communicative goal, then so instructions provided to our students so that they could be well aware what is asked of them. So you see that speaking belongs to the productive skills, and here we see that what makes it similar with listening is that it belongs to the sphere of oral communication, yeah, productive skill that deals with oral communication. Besides, so speaking incorporates the knowledge of syntax, phonological skills, morphological, pragmatics. So we dealt with pragmatics now when we were dealing with my handout, and it presupposes knowledge of semantics or vocabulary. Okay, and if talking about speaking, I can't but mention different types of classroom speaking performance. So, like the tasks that can be offered to our learners for them to start opening their mouth and speaking, so can be of different nature. This can be either imitative activities, when we just want to drill a word or phrase and ask our learners to repeat a certain word or phrase after us. Yeah. So usually what is highly recommended is like giving our students short and simple examples, because if these are extended sentences, perhaps our learners will not remember that. Then this can be so different types of responsive activities or small talks like "How are you today?" Like the first phrases, responsive speaking activities presuppose like students' knowledge of what to say in case if somebody greets you by saying "Hi, how are you?" It necessarily means that you should answer "Fine, how are you?" Yeah, these are like small talks. These are some certain standard short and standard phrases that the students learn by heart since the times of their primary school lessons. More difficult types of classroom speaking presuppose dealing with transactional, interpersonal exercises and performances. And now, like, let us dwell in more detail on these forms of speaking. So whenever we talk about speaking, you remember that it's subdivided into monological speech and dialogical speech. That's why these are two forms of speaking. But the dialogues can be further subdivided into interactions and transactions. That's why we can talk about interaction. What is interaction? So interaction, it's like when we are interested in social relations. For example, what does it mean? For example, we start talking with somebody for as long as we wish. So just in order to establish some good relations with a person. For example, we start asking them different questions about their family, about how they spent their summer, about what happened in their life, what's new in their life. So here we have in interaction, in any interaction, we are much more interested in social relations rather than and just this kind of empathy, positive atmosphere or rapport, as we call it, rather than message itself. When we are talking about transaction, here it's the message that is important. So where can we find these transactional phrases or transactional kind of tasks? Usually it's about some kind of situations when you need to find out, when you need to, for example, to ask a person for a certain service to be given to you. When you are ordering coffee, when, for example, you ask somebody help you. So in all these situations, we rely on the phrases with certain functions that we've already talked about, yeah, so that your students could be well aware that in case, for example, if you need to ask for the way, just to the theater, or if you wish to buy something, or if you wish to to buy some food or to buy some tickets to the cinema at a box office, then you will be in the know, even if you lack some profound knowledge of the foreign language. Still, if you learn certain phrases, for example, so how much does it cost? If you learn the phrase, then you will definitely know how to address shop assistant somewhere in a shop or in the supermarket, yeah? Or for example, in case if you wish to buy a ticket, you may say like to Glasgow. So these are transactional phrases. These are kind of structures that we learn in order for us to be able to use them to kind of fill the gap, some information gap. And when we are talking about speaking as performance, we deal mainly with monological speech, because performance means presenting something. It can be either presentation on a certain topic, commenting on something, but it's always monological. So interaction and transaction are about developing dialogical speech, while performance deals with some monological speech or presentation in general. Okay, right now I'd like to work a bit with you and, oh, sorry, that's not it, okay. And now I would like you to think and distribute the types of speaking activities into the columns. Here you are provided with 9 situations. You'll need to decide which of them illustrate the situation with interaction, which of them correlate with transaction, and which of them correspond to performance. Right now, just take your time and pick up all those types of speaking activities that deal with performance. In the chat box area, write down or text me and just put the numbers of the sentences that correlate with performance speaking activities. Performance. Mhm. Haven't seen your answers yet. Currently, I'm asking you just to sort out and pick up only the activities for performance. What is performance? Once again, performance goes about monological speech activities. Once again. 5, 6, 7, 9. So, as for 2, 6, 9. So 6, 9, so should be used for sure. Yeah, so that's true. 6 and 9. These are presenting a commercial for a silly product, and 9 preparing a short talk on a familiar topic. And there should be one more activity. There should be 3 of them dedicated to performance. Which of them? Number 5 or number 7? Describing a photo. Yeah, 7, definitely, Lena. Thank you. Describing a photo. Number 5, that's not about, so that's not about just monological speech. Okay, can be somehow treated. Yeah, in case if you are going to stand up and publicly present in the form of the monologue your summer holiday experiences. Yeah, in this case, maybe it can be treated as a like performance activity. But in most of the cases, the students share the summer holiday experiences while communicating with their partners. Okay, now when we kind of crossed out those activities that indicate like performance, yeah, so performance activities, so tell me please which of them will correlate with transactional activities. Or those that can go under the heading of transaction. 4, definitely. Asking for directions, yeah, because we definitely know a certain structure as to how to deal with that. We just ask, how can I get to? Even if we learn just this phrase, the people we are addressing, we are asking will definitely show this direction and you'll be in the know. Yeah, so, and 2 more, find 2 more. 1, thank you, Olena, information gap. You are asking for something. So you lack this information, but your partner, your interlocutor, has this information. That's why you kind of try to get it from this person. And 1 more is left. Number 3, finding someone who, no. Ordering food, 50-50, no. So, Okay, perhaps I will help you to save time. It's about role playing. I indicated in brackets that's about it's about ordering food. Even if your knowledge of English is not that good, so on entering a cafe or a restaurant, you will say, waiter, so could you please bring? Or you will just so point to certain things on the menu and say, water or coffee or like something else, yeah, and so you'll be understood. Actually, role playing playing that presupposes ordering food is based on some certain structures that are learned beforehand. Yeah, that's why information gap, then role playing with ordering food and asking for directions are three types of exercises or speaking activities, yeah, that correlate with transaction. And three others that are left, these are namely finding someone who. So on the one hand, you will kind of tell me, Olena Yurievna, isn't it about like some information gap? No, because here, like whenever the teacher introduces this kind of activities with mingling, looking, it's about establishing some positive atmosphere or rapport, yeah? When you are kind of communicating, socializing, making friends, getting to know more about people. That's about providing, developing your soft skills rather than just finding out the information. Are you sure that in case with finding someone who, are you in the know? Not sure, but are you in the know that this situation will go according to some particular pattern? Like in case with activities 2 and, for example, 4. Here we have certain patterns of how to ask the people about something. In case with interactional activities, you are hardly in the know, what the flow of the conversation, what turn the flow of the conversation will take. That's why it's more about establishing social relations, socializing, than about just information gap. That's why Number 3, number 5, sharing summer holiday experiences when you are interacting with a lot of people. Because are you in the know what their summer holiday experiences are? They can be rather unexpected. That's why if it does not go according to some standardized pattern, but it presupposes dealing with people, sometimes with a lot of people, socializing with them. So that's about interaction. And there is also one more, telling two truths and a lie. What is the purpose behind such an activity? It's like finding out more about people. So in order to find a possible friend, for example, yeah, in order to just check if you share the same values. That's it. So it's again about socializing. Yeah. Is it clear now? So, or perhaps you have some questions to me based on this. No? Okay, so you are keeping mum, then it means that so as you have no questions, so that obviously it's quite clear. Okay, in breakout rooms, right now I will offer you to participate in the following activity. I will ask you to think of how you, I will ask you to imagine that you are going to teach a lesson where the final task for your intermediate learners is to give a talk recommending a tour of their country. You'll be asked to think of what grammar your learners will need, what vocabulary they will use, and what functional language, what phrases, yeah, they will use in order to find out about something. So I will provide you with these handout in our group chat. Just a moment, let me find that. And now you'll be assigned in groups, yeah, in breakouts. You are going to work for up to 7 minutes. Up to 7 minutes. Yulia Yurievna, will it be possible to assign them?
Yes, we may start.
Thank you. Mhm. Okay. Now, when all of you are back, let me share my screen and show what we've come up with the ladies. So, frankly speaking, in spite of the fact that I was the teacher in their group, I wasn't in the charge of generating the ideas. I was the one who just took notes. So, please have a look at our list and tell me if there is something that you have on your lists, but we didn't manage to mention, so that we could add it to our own lists and to make the lists in the columns exhaustive. Any suggestions from all of you? Victoria?
Yep, in our team, we decided that despite the fact that these are intermediate learners, we may revise with them articles, yeah, because some sort of destinations require the great knowledge of articles, and sometimes there are some sort of exceptions, so we would better revise them. And probably in functional language, we may just add some words like linkers, because if we present it as a tour, yeah, we may say firstly, secondly, thirdly, yeah, so we are given reasons for this one, for example, destination, yeah, so just to persuade people who are listening to us that this is a good destination, or just like restaurant, museum, etc.
I can't but agree more. Yeah, thank you. Helena, what else would you like to add?
As for grammar, we also discussed the idea of revising conditional sentences, at least the first conditional.
For example,
As we can,
if I had the money, I would travel, yeah, to Miami.
yeah, the second, and if you visit this place, you can see something. And also, we were discussing the sentences that can emphasize different information. So as they are intermediate learners, maybe we shouldn't teach any difficult structures, but sentences like what a nice place it is. Like we can include it in our presentation to convey emotions.
Yeah. Emphatic structures, for example, you do need to go there, yeah? Or exclamations, what a beautiful place. What a nice landscape and whatnot. Okay, thanks a lot. So yeah, that was that's what we appreciate, yeah, because you just added this fresh touch to all these, and now like it's like the tables and the lists are more or less exhaustive. Any other suggestions? What else can be added?
Maybe also we can add prepositions or place.
Yeah.
In or near.
Yeah, definitely. So prepositions of place, definitely. Katya, thank you. Anything else? Or we'll stop here. So just raise your hands if you wish to add something for me to be in the know. If not, we will just stop the activity because I believe that the lists are more than exhaustive. Okay, then, so I will close this icon. And, just a moment. Okay. Now, just let me say also, okay. Let me say a few words about how the lesson framework for teaching speaking should look like. So when we talked about such lessons as, for example, teaching language systems, remember, yeah, we had lead in, we had work on the language or like on the structures. We had, for example, some the work with some text, let it be, or with some audio. Then we had some drilling activities and freer practice. When we analyzed the lesson for teaching receptive skills, so to say listening and reading, we had the tasks for the first listening or reading as well as for the second listening and reading. And whenever we are talking about the lesson that is based on speaking, its structure is quite similar, but a bit different. And it's called, so it's usually based on such a structure that correlates with the so-called task-based learning, or TBL. It has the following stages. Lead in, as usual, to set the context and generate interest in it. Model text, what do I mean by it? For you, for example, to ask your students to start speaking about like commenting something, you should provide them with some, let it be content. So it can be like a model text that they will either read or listen. And then like the series of questions so will follow, and that's how they will start speaking. There should be some kind of prompt for them to start commenting or to start speaking on that. There should be also some language focus. When, for example, the students deal with certain either grammar phenomena or vocabulary items or some prosodic features, so that we could get rid of these obstacles, so that they could not block the conversation. Then, on doing this, on dealing with it, we can set a particular task for our students. That's why it's called task-based learning. So usually, like we set them some tasks, and the students plan their own version of this model text. Can be done alone or in groups, in pairs. Then they present it or perform it. They perform the task. So you set the task first. So the students get involved in getting ready with it. And then they perform what you asked them about, so that they could demonstrate their fluency. And after it, you as a teacher provide the so-called feedback, usually on language, but also it should be based not only on accuracy, but also on fluency. Remember that whenever we're dealing with providing a feedback on speaking, it should focus more on what? Fluency or accuracy? What is more essential in speaking?
Fluency.
Fluency, definitely.
Fluency.
Yeah, fluency. So when we were talking about language systems, like for example, vocabulary, like grammar, accuracy was more important there. But when it comes to like productive skills lesson, be it speaking or, for example, writing, so we should focus more on fluency. And that's a common mistake that most of the teachers at schools start making, because they usually analyze their students' speaking skills, not analyze, but assess their students' speaking skills by analyzing what mistakes and how many of them were made. That's what evokes a fear on behalf of the learners who are unwilling to talk. That's why you should stop that altogether. It doesn't mean that you as a teacher shouldn't deal with accuracy at all, because accuracy in grammar and in vocabulary, in prosodic features, that's one of the criteria that you should like base your assessment on, but it's not the cornerstone of everything, because here you are like in speaking, you are interested not in the product or accuracy, you are interested in the process or like fluency. Okay, now I will share it with you. Just a moment again. Yeah, I'm going to send it to attach it here. Okay, так, stages. Okay, lesson framework. That's here. And I will also share with you one more file of mine. Like here, you'll be asked to work individually, and so you will have to analyze the stages of the lesson. So here we have some practical example of what is done by the students in the classroom. And you will need to predict what will be the order for all these stages. So there are currently like 7 letters here, and you should mark them with numbers from 1 to 7. Think of what should be marked by number 1. and what should be numbered by 2 or 3 or 6 or 7. Work individually, so take your time. I will wait, and then we will analyze it together. So perhaps we can start. What have you marked as number 1? What was marked as number 1 as the first stage here?
Lead in.
Lead in. Okay, should be marked as 1. Then what comes next? Stage 2.
It's B, I guess.
It's B. Yeah, right, you are, Victoria. It's B. After lead in, students listen to the teacher giving an example of the task, recommending a 5-day tour of part of Britain. Yeah. Then stage 3. Don't be afraid.
Absentee. Follow-up work.
G, there is some follow-up work on content and language. No. Follow-up is not about it. Follow-up, it's like comes later, much later.
Maybe C?
C, definitely, Inna, yeah, definitely, it's 3. So after providing an example of the task that you listen to, remember, like if you open, perhaps I will do that. I will open this lesson framework for speaking. Just a moment. Okay, what do we have here? Yeah, lead in and some modal text, either for listening or for reading. Yeah, that's what was like number 2. Then comes language focus. And here we have it. Language focus, the teacher inputs some phrases for the talk. These are pre-selected items chosen for their general usefulness for this task. Yeah, so actually you suggest a model for them to be in the know, like how to work with that task that the teacher will later give them. In order to get rid of all possible obstacles, the teacher focuses on the language, presents some language input so that the students could be well aware of what these phrases mean or of how, for example, the particular structures can be used in their own speech. That's why it comes as stage 3, right? You are. So what is where is stage number 4? So after all the obstacles were taken away, after everything has been clarified, what comes next?
A.
So A, definitely, because here the students are asked to prepare a talk. That particular task is set for them. Yeah, here we had lead in, then there was a model of reading or listening text introduced to the students. Then we had some work on language, and now comes the task that is set by the teacher. It's stage number 4. Where is stage number 5? The task is set, now it needs to be done. That's why.
F.
F,
Students
rehearse or practice their talk with a partner. You mean that so they are no. Usually, so we are not rehearsing something with a partner. We kind of like start dealing with something. It's about D. Yeah, so students perform the task publicly. So they are asked to do it. So then they perform the task. And so if talking about what you suggested, a kind of like F, that can be a kind of like next activity. Yeah. So task, here we have task preparation, then task performance, and report back. So after you've presented something, the teacher may ask you to practice or rehearse this talk that you already presented with the partner so that he could then start interrupting you in order to clarify something, to provide the feedback on, for example, what was correct, what was incorrect. And after it, come some follow-up activities on content and language. Yeah, so like some tasks on language focus. So that's how the keys. Okay, Victoria, yeah, ask a question if you
Yeah,
have it.
actually, I have the question here. Probably you may clarify it. As I see it from these stages, we first of all, students perform these, and then they already rehearse it like with their partner. So they tell this story twice.
They kind of they can rehearse just those parts in their speech, yeah, that like either evoke some interest or that have like the biggest number of problems. So here perhaps like another task can be suggested here. The idea behind this F stage is that the teacher at this particular stage should provide the feedback on language. That's why it can be either done either in the form of the teacher comments. For example, the teacher listened attentively to everything, took notes of everything, and after the students stopped talking, he may say, you know, like there was a problem like here, or like you mispronounced something, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it can be done this way. It's more traditional way. Or it can be done in a non-traditional way when you will ask your student to once again rehearse a particular part of your dialogue so that, for example, you could make it more meaningful, you could make like stops whenever possible, yeah? You won't be in such a stress compared to the task itself when you were focusing on what to say, because now when you are asked to kind of like repeat something, so the teacher will make pauses, will ask you to stop so that he could help you with clarifying how it should sound. That's what it's all about. Like, do you understand it now?
Yeah, probably yes. Just first idea that came to my mind is it like doesn't make sense with peer assessment, yes? So not connected.
You mean this? No. It's more about a particular like dialogue, yeah, dialogue that was that was presented by kind of like pair of students when the teacher noticed some mistakes. So like he can first like listen to all of them, and then he can ask them to kind of like rehearse or present some particular units or just kind of like blocks so that he as a teacher could provide a feedback on why, for example, so that was incorrect, like to say it like this. You know, sometimes that's highly essential that the teacher should ask the students to do that. Why? Because if he just imagine the situation. One of the students like asked the question like, do you like wine? The other one responded, no, thank you. Does it make sense? Obviously, they misinterpreted the functions of these questions, yeah? Because like in case if somebody asks you, do you like wine? It's about like, do you like the taste of it? The other one interpreted it as, would you like wine? And that's why he says, no, thank you, for example, yeah? That's why it's highly essential at times to ask the students in case if it was a dialogue, to rehearse it once again, like these units, so that in the context of discourse, the teacher could present why it's impossible to use it this way. That's what it's all about. Victoria, have you received the answer?
Probably, yes. So we may use this when we're dealing with dialects, yeah, not monologues.
Yeah, it can be replaced. It can be replaced just by the stage that in which it will be stated. The teacher provides a feedback on language. So
Yeah,
that's
now
like
it's clear.
yeah, in a slash. So I will just write. So the teacher presents a feedback. Yeah. And now maybe that would be much simpler and clearer to all of you. And after it, follow some follow-up activities or kind of like freer practice or kind of creative stage. Yeah? Okay. So thanks a lot. Now the question follows. What activities so a teacher should suggest or offer to his students so that they could be used for speaking. There are a number of them. And I believe that you already use a lot of them in your work while giving private tutorials to your own students or learners. Still, here we have 6 groups of exercises or activities that you can use for speaking. So let us kind of sort out these activities according to the type of activity. For example, we have the first one. Plan a dinner menu for overseas guests within a given fixed budget. What is all this about? Is it about listing? Is it about ordering and sorting? About comparing? Is it a creative task? Is it about sharing personal experiences? Or is it about problem solving?
Creative task.
Write a song based on a literary text.
Also
Right.
creative.
Yeah. Then tell an anecdote on a terrible journey you have had.
Sharing personal experience.
Definitely. Rank these items in order of importance, interest, usefulness.
Ordering, sorting.
So sorting and ordering. Then what generally makes you most annoyed, very happy, or stressed? We can set this kind of activity as a task for speaking.
Maybe comparing.
Makes you most annoyed, happy, stressed. We are asking them to share their experience. How many ways can you find to classify the food you eat daily, or the things you do at home, or the things you read regularly? How many ways can you find to classify the food?
Is it listing?
No, that's not about listing. How many ways can you find to classify the food you eat daily, or the things you do at home? It's about
Problem solving?
Problem solving, definitely. Compare 2 reports of the same event from different newspapers. That's easy. Comparing, yeah. Unjumble the instructions for making an international phone call. Kind of. So try to understand what these instructions are about.
Problem solving.
Definitely, thank you. Produce a class magazine.
Creative task.
Yeah. Make up your own ending to this story.
Creative.
Can be, or it can be also it's in between. So creative, because here we demonstrate some sort of creativity, but it can be also about problem solving. Yeah. So okay, but I will refer it here. So then spot the differences between 2 pictures, 2 story endings, 2 phenomena.
Comparing.
Yeah. Then listen to or read these descriptions of different people, places, and identify which person or which place is which. Identify. What is what? What is about this place? What is about the other place? What is about the third place? What are we doing? Sorting something out. Yes, students brainstorm international English words, for example, in sport. When you are asked just to brainstorm something, whenever you brainstorm something, that's always about
Personal experience.
listing. Brainstorm, create the list of something, yeah? Cutting the cake. What is the minimum number of straight cuts you must make to divide a round cake into 8 equal pieces? Oh my God, such a difficult task. What do you need to deal with here?
Problem solving.
Yeah, definitely. Students brainstorm things you are to do. For example, so what things you need to do to plan a party? What do you need to do? Is like brainstorm. Again, create the lists. It's about
Listing.
How many ways can you find to classify the food you eat daily, the things you do at home, the things you read regularly? It seems to me that it's being repeated, yeah? So it looks as if, yeah. So I've already seen it. So yeah, that's here. I don't know why it's being repeated for a number of times. So it was here. It's problem solving. Students brainstorm qualities looked for in a product, for example, a good pen. What qualities a good product should have?
Listing also.
All brainstorming, that's about listing. Tell your partner about your early school day. Can you hear me? Because like it says that there are obviously some like internet connection problems. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell your partner about your early school days. Sharing personal experience. Debate and decide on, on the things. So I don't know why 0 is here. On the things that will help you to survive on a dangerous expedition. You need to come up with the idea. You need to decide what will help you. That's all about what?
Problem solving.
Problem solving, thanks a lot. Yeah, so now we are done with that. So thanks a lot. I see that we have only 2 minutes left, but I would also like to suggest dealing with the following. Perhaps that will be given as a kind of maybe like home task. Still, I will tell you. I will tell you what I planned to do with that. Perhaps like if you don't mind, I will take 10 minutes of our lesson just to show that to you and to ask you to deal with that. So, so some of you have asked me. It seems to me that it was during the previous class of ours. Elena Yurievna, so have we been split up into these groups? Yeah, so into these groups, and how should we know what lesson we will be responsible for, and so on and so forth. So we already dealt with different lesson plans, but unfortunately not a single time. So did we deal with them? So just with, okay. So not a single time did we deal with like the whole template that CELTA suggests for presenting these lessons. Now let's just briefly have a look at how this lesson plan looks like in CELTA classes. So here you should specify what your name and surname is. For example, what the focus of your lesson is, main focus, because like during any lesson, you will talk a bit, you will listen to teacher's instructions, you will read something, but the main focus, for example, is for example, on speaking. Then the level of your students so should be indicated. For example, in my case, that was like pre-intermediate level of students. And so usually, as we are talking about school lessons, then they last for 45 minutes. Then, oh my God. So you will need to specify the main aim of your class, secondary aim, personal aims that you would like to be achieved. Then what materials you will use for the trainer of the course to look through that and see what work has been done on the lesson. Anticipated problems and their anticipated solutions. You kind of have to anticipate what can happen. And here comes the lesson itself. So it should correlate with some of the frameworks that were given to you throughout the lessons of ours. If talking about this lesson, since it deals with speaking, here come the following stages. Lead in or setting the context, and you have here greeting with pictures on a shared screen. Where are they? You can find these pictures in our chat, because here I have a presentation, and that's why you kind of have to correlate, correlate the what is stated in my lesson plan with so what is provided in the in the presentation. Yeah, that's what we have here. Here come the questions, the anticipated problems together with the solutions. Then here comes the next stage, pre-teach blocking vocabulary. So here it's stated like each and every step of of what the teacher does working with the kids. All the possible questions, again, anticipated problems and solutions at this stage. So you need to anticipate what the problem your students may have and how to get rid of that. Then comes the next stage, and then again, so you will give in detail what you will do. If possible, suggest the CCQ questions, present the work on meaning, form, and pronunciation. So do not forget about it, in spite of the fact that it's not the lesson on teaching language systems. So it's the lesson on teaching speaking, but remember that the language focus should be instilled in the lesson. Then here comes task performance. You need to set them the task. Mind that the task, like I was responsible for, dealt with an online class. That's why here it was mentioned, so that they are going to work in breakout rooms, for example, and all that stuff. Then you stop breakout rooms, you monitor what they are doing as being a teacher. Then here we have the stage name with language focus or the teacher's feedback, where you listen to what the students will present and just comment on that. Then such a stage name as task repetition is instilled here or present here. That's what Victoria asked me about. Yeah, remember when we analyzed those stages, she asked me, is this rehearsal about should it follow the task presentation or should it precede it? So here it's explained, yeah, why we need to repeat the task and how this task repetition should look like. Actually, we can ask a bit different questions as well, but talking about the same things in order to make the task, this stage more meaningful, in order to clarify it for the students. Once again, for them not to no longer make some mistakes. And flexi stage or fluent practice. Why is it called flexi stage? Just because you can adjust it to the needs, personal needs of your students. You are free as a teacher to suggest any follow-up activity, but on condition that it will be creative. And again, you need to anticipate all the possible problems and solutions. Besides, besides providing such a lesson plan, here comes some extra sheet or sheets where you should specify, for example, what language structures, what language systems are you supposed to work on? Perhaps while introducing the task or giving your students a text for listening or for reading, they will come across some structures that they may not be in the know, especially taking into consideration that in this lesson I'm dealing with pre-intermediate learners for whom quite a lot of items may be viewed as the difficult ones. Perhaps if these were upper intermediate students, they would like hardly ask those questions. But for pre-intermediate students, that can be a real problem. That's why. So, for example, just from my point of view, it doesn't mean that they will necessarily have these problems or they will struggle with this sentence. But I try to anticipate what they can struggle with. That's why I'm going to clarify, for example, the meaning of this sentence. You see that some words were stressed, some are unstressed. It just means that by doing this, I indicated to the learners how they should pronounce the sentence. Besides, I'm going to work with the meaning, then state how I'm going to check their understanding. For this, I suggest working with CCQ questions, how I will work with the form and as well as with the pronunciation. Then here comes the next sentence. For example, no way, never. Yeah, perhaps pre-intermediate learners will be not in the know what it means again. So I, as a teacher, should eradicate the problem by working with the meaning of this phrase, asking CCQ questions, working on the form and working on pronunciation. So we were asked by our trainers to think of at least 3 language structures or some sentences that can evoke some problems in the students. Yeah, so or that our students will struggle with them. If you present 4 or 5, that's not bad, but at least 3 should be suggested because that's kind of optimal number of all these sentences or structures. Again, I will focus on meaning, form, and pronunciation. So my initial plan or original plan was to let you work with this a lesson plan of mine, to correlate it with the presentation so that, for example, you could tell me if you'd like to change anything. But let it be your home assignment. So at home, you will have more free time, yeah? That's why. So right after today's class or whenever you have time, I'd like to ask you to correlate what I did in my lesson plan with the presentation. So we will start our next class that will be dedicated to teaching speaking. So with answering the question, if you have any suggestions as to how you might improve, by the way, don't be afraid of doing that. Yeah, it doesn't mean that, so if this task or this lesson plan was performed by the teacher, it's like the best of the best. Perhaps you taking into account that now there are a lot of, there exist a number of platforms that you can add. The lesson was performed by me 4 years ago, at the time when ChatGPT was not that popular, at the time when most of the platforms were unheard of. Nowadays, when you have more opportunities, think of what improvements you might suggest for the lesson of mine. Yeah, that will be kind of like preparation to that work that you are going to present or to deal with for the 21st of May. So I will elicit what you've come up with, the ideas you've come up with, and then, so after it, we will proceed to our lesson on writing. And so at the end of our next class, I'm going to distribute you into the teams, so that you could have enough time, so that you could plan ahead your lessons for the 21st of May. Okay, so thanks a lot for the lesson. Hope it was useful and beneficial to you. Hopefully, I managed to focus on the things that were not presented by your teachers, or for example, that did not get enough attention on behalf of you or your teachers, and there was something new to you. If so, then I'll be pleased that I managed to cope with this task. So thanks a lot and see you in a week. So enjoy. The rest of you do?
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you a
Goodbye.
lot.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.